Welcome back, guys, to another Friday Gamer Log. As usual, I'll be talking about the games that I've been playing, games that will be coming up here in the direct future for YouTube, and any games I would like to buy or have bought. So, without further ado, let's get this thing started. Alright, as far as Command Mission is concerned, I made my way through the game a little more to the end of Chapter 9, where I fought Scarface for the second time. He wasn't much more difficult than he was last time, especially since I already knew what element he was weak to. Since I knew that he was weak against fire, I gave Zero the Flame Saber and I gave X the Fire Buster. Near the end of the battle, the final move that I did to Scarface was I put Cinnamon in her Hyper Mode, which, by the way, I still am not really sure what it does. I haven't really looked into it. But I put Cinnamon in her Hyper Mode, then I had her using Ultra Fire, which wound up being the last hit on Scarface. So he wasn't much more difficult than he was the first time that I fought him. I got a 10% boost in experience. Directly after I defeated Scarface, and I mean directly after I defeated him, I didn't have time to move. I couldn't even open up a menu or anything. Directly after I defeated Scarface, I entered the battle against Epsilon, which I already expected that to be a pretty tough battle. Cinnamon's action trigger got powered up from the Scarface battle. I already expected the battle against Epsilon to be a pretty difficult one. I especially expected that after I seen his first move. He used a move called Meta Crush on Cinnamon, which took her down to 1 HP. And needless to say, I used up every bit of sub-tank energy I had on top of all the healing that Cinnamon had done. So overall, it was a pretty good challenge. It wasn't the hardest battle, but it was a pretty good challenge. I even got a final strike on Epsilon. Now that all the noise has subsided, I got a final strike on Epsilon, but that wasn't the end of the battle. He just said, "You will not defeat me," and then he used a move called Omega Force. So I guess that was about like the halfway mark in the battle. So I made a little more progress into this fight, and I eventually wound up destroying Epsilon. I never did get a game over or anything like that, but I did end up destroying Epsilon. I wound up switching out Massimo for Axel. And Axel did pretty good against Epsilon, especially with the Wild Django transformation. It would do about 4,000 or so to Epsilon, which was really good. I eventually finally took out Epsilon with a charged shot from X's fire armor. And that was the end of that battle. As soon as I finished off this battle, everybody's all like, "Mission complete. Yeah, good job. We're proud of you." You know, that's all that I'm seeing now. I haven't really found out what I have to do in order to start Chapter 10 yet. So I know that I haven't beaten the game because I haven't gotten no ending or anything. But yeah, that's as far as I made it in Command Mission. Beat Chapter 9, haven't started Chapter 10. As far as Spirit Tracks is concerned, I made a little more progress into 100%ing it. I got my last 2 Dark Pearl loops that I needed for my last train part from doing the Whip Race minigame, which also wound up being the place where I got my very last heart container, my final one. So I got every last possible thing to get in this game, and then I beat the game a second time, choosing the other option so that I could see the other ending that I didn't see the first time. Wasn't all that much different. There are still a couple more things for me to do here in Spirit Tracks. I read that if I finish the Whip Race in under 1 minute and 5 seconds, then the guy will give me 50% off every time that I play the game, which I'm not really too worried about doing that. And I read that if I scored 900 hits in the little Captain and Guards minigame, I'll be promoted to a Captain rank, which I don't really think does anything except give you bragging rights. So again, I'm not really too worried about doing that. Other than that, I've gotten everything else in Spirit Tracks now. I did a little more work in Game & Watch Gallery 4. Not very much, but I did do a little bit of work. I got some more stars. I have 112 now, so we need another 48 before we can play the Zelda Game & Watch game. I unlocked another game in the museum, Parachute. And I haven't really played that much, but I have played it on the Game & Watch collection for the DS, so I already know what that game is like. The last game that I got any stars in was the hard mode of the classic version of Donkey Kong Jr. I did it the same way that I did the original Donkey Kong. I just found a safe place to just continually jump over one enemy over and over and over again. I just kept doing that until I had the total amount of points that I needed. Once you hit 300, you get double the points if you haven't taken a hit. Coming up as far as YouTube gaming is concerned this week, we will be finishing off the rest of the Zelda Dungeon Fast Guides for Zelda 1. We have level 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 to do. Then also coming up this week as far as YouTube gaming is concerned, we will be starting a Mr. Perfect run of Mega Man The Wily Wars Wily Tower mode. I look forward to doing that. This game is for Sega Genesis. So yeah, I look forward to playing that as well. As far as video game purchases is concerned, I'd like to get my hands on Kirby's Return to Dreamland for the Nintendo Wii. I hear that it's got 4-player multiplayer, similar to New Super Mario Bros. Wii, so I really look forward to getting that at some point or another. So yeah, that's what I've been playing mostly. Mainly been playing Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, beat it this week as you've seen on YouTube in the blind run and everything. It was a really great game, and now I'm down to just one Zelda that I haven't beaten, and that's Skyward Sword. Which I'll probably finish going through Skyward Sword on my own once I finally beat Command Mission. So that's another thing that I look forward to. And well, that is it for today's Friday Gamer Log, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Thank you for watching.